Welcome to Zoozoo Shoo, where every word inspires courage and every truth awakens your soul. Today's video, fear is lying to you. Fear, it's that voice inside your head that whispers you can't. It's the shadow that grows taller every time you dare to dream. It's the invisible chain that holds you back when your heart wants to run free. Fear tells you that you're not ready. It tells you that you're not strong enough, smart enough, talented enough, that maybe it's better to stay where you are, safe, small, and silent. But what if I told you something? What if I told you fear is lying to you? Every time fear speaks, it paints a picture of danger, of loss, of failure, but it never tells you the truth about what's on the other side of courage. Fear exaggerates the fall, but hides the flight. It makes the mountain look higher than it really is, and your strength smaller than it truly feels. Think back for a moment. How many times did fear stop you, before the world even had the chance to see what you could become? How many dreams have you buried under the excuse of maybe later? How many chances have you watched slip away because fear convinced you that comfort was safer than growth? The truth is, fear doesn't protect you. It paralyzes you. It doesn't stop you from dying. It stops you from living. You see, fear is clever. It doesn't always scream. Sometimes, it whispers gently. It disguises itself as logic, as practicality, as being realistic. It tells you to wait until the time is right, until you have more money, more skill, more confidence, more approval. But that perfect moment never comes, because fear keeps moving the finish line. The moment you say, "I'm ready," fear finds a new reason why you're not. And so, years pass, dreams fade, and one day you wake up realizing the life you wanted was never waiting for you. It was waiting for you to stop waiting. Fear is not your enemy. It's just a liar that learned how to sound convincing. It feeds on your hesitation, and it starves when you take action. The first step, that trembling, uncertain, messy step, is where fear starts to lose its power. Because fear can't survive in motion. It only grows in stillness. The day you decide to move, even with shaking hands and pounding heart, you begin to rewrite the story fear has been telling you for years. You stop being its victim and become its challenger. Understand this. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that something else matters more. Your dream, your purpose, your freedom, your peace. Fear will still show up. It will still whisper that you're not enough. But you'll recognize its voice now. You'll see through the lies. When fear says, "You'll fail," you'll answer, "Maybe, but I'll learn." When fear says, "You're not ready," you'll answer, "Neither was anyone else who did something great." When fear says, "What if you fall?" you'll whisper back, "What if I fly?" Because every legend, every success story, every person who has ever changed the world had to face the same fear you're facing right now. The difference? They didn't listen. They acted anyway. And maybe that's all life is asking from you. Not to be fearless, but to keep walking even when fear walks beside you. Because on the other side of fear lies everything you've ever wanted. The love you dream of, the success you chase, the peace you crave, the purpose you were born. For a time, fear is a storyteller. But you get to choose whether to believe its story or write your own. When you take that first step toward your dream, when you stop negotiating with your fear and start listening to your heart, you become unstoppable. So the next time fear tells you, you can't, remind it who you are. Remind it that your courage is louder. Remind it that you've fallen before and still risen. Remind it that you have survived everything that was meant to break you, because you are not your fear. You are the fire that burns through it. You are the storm that silence cannot hold. Are the proof that fear can lie, but it can never define you. You've spent enough time hiding behind your doubt. Now, it's time to live behind your truth, and the truth is simple. You were never meant to live afraid. You were meant to rise, to fall, to rise again, and to keep rising until the lies of fear no longer reach you. So walk forward. Speak your dream out loud. Do the thing that terrifies you, because fear only wins when you stop moving, and you were born to move mountains. Soft music swells. The light grows stronger. Remember this, fear is lying to you, always has been, always will, but you have the power to tell a better story. Fear tells you that you are not ready. But the truth is, you've been ready for a long time. You've been preparing in silence, collecting scars, gathering strength, while fear kept whispering that you weren't enough. Fear lies because it feeds on your hesitation. It feeds on the moments when you doubt your own heartbeat, the moments when you stop believing in your potential. Fear thrives when you forget who you truly are. You see, fear is not a monster that lives in the dark. It's a mirror that reflects every insecurity you've ever held. It's your own voice, twisted, distorted, and disguised. But if you look closely, you'll see something strange. Behind every lie fear tells you, there's a hidden truth it's trying to protect. Fear says you'll fail. The truth says you might fall, but you'll rise. Fear says they'll laugh at you. The truth says they'll watch you, and one day, they'll learn from you. Fear says you'll never make it. The truth says you've already come too far to stop now. Every great soul that ever lived walked hand in hand with fear. They didn't destroy it. They learned to dance with it. Because fear is not your enemy. It's your compass. It points directly toward what matters most to you. When you feel fear, it's a signal, a sign that you're standing at the edge of growth. If it scares you, it's probably worth doing. Because on the other side of fear lies the life you've always imagined. But fear won't make it easy. It'll dress up as logic, reason, caution. It'll sound smart. It'll tell you to wait for the right moment. But the right moment never comes. There is only now, this breath, this heartbeat, this chance. Fear doesn't want you to fail. It wants you to stay the same. It wants to keep you small, hidden, safe. But safety is a slow death for the soul. You weren't born to live quietly. You were born to roar. You were born to stand tall, even when your knees tremble. Because bravery doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means moving forward despite it. Fear lies to you because it knows the truth, that once you act, it loses its power. Fear dies in motion. It only survives in hesitation. So take one step. Even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, take one step. Because the first step is the loudest declaration of war against fear. It tells the universe, I am no longer a prisoner of my own doubt. Every time you act, you weaken fear's grip. Every time you rise after falling, fear starts to fade. Because courage isn't found in comfort. It's built in chaos, and chaos is where true transformation begins. You don't need to wait until you feel brave. You need to act until you become brave. Courage is born from repetition, from facing the same fear again and again until it bows before you. And one day, you'll look back and realize fear never had control. It was only an illusion, a shadow, a story you kept telling yourself that wasn't true. Fear is a liar, but you are the truth. And truth doesn't whisper. It roars, because inside you, there's a fire that fear can't touch. It can cover it, it can dim it, but it can never kill it. That fire is your will. That fire is your purpose. That fire is you. And when that fire burns bright enough, no darkness can survive around you. Listen, the world doesn't need another person hiding behind excuses. It needs your story. It needs your courage. It needs your voice. Because every time you rise, someone else learns that they can too. Every time you fight your fear, you light a path for someone lost in theirs. You are not just fighting for yourself. You're fighting for everyone who's watching silently, waiting for a reason to believe again. So rise. Rise not because it's easy, but because it's right. Rise because your destiny demands it. Rise because fear has had enough of your time. Rise because this world deserves to see what happens when you finally believe in yourself. Fear says you can't. You say, watch me. Fear says it's impossible. You say, I'll make it possible. Fear says you'll never win. You say, winning isn't the goal, growing is. Fear says, stay safe. You say, safe never built legends. The moment you start talking back to fear, it starts shrinking. It starts losing its strength. And you begin to remember who you were before. You were told to be afraid. You were born limitless, but you learned fear. Now, it's time to unlearn it. Fear may visit. Let it. Just don't serve it tea. Don't give it your time, your peace, your purpose. Fear knocks on every door, but it only enters the ones that open. So stop opening the door. Let fear knock until it gets tired. Because the truth is, fear doesn't go away when you hide. It goes away when you face it. And when you finally do, you'll see. It was never as big as you thought. Fear is lying to you. It always has been. It tells you you're weak. But look at you. You're still here. It tells you you're lost, but you're still searching. It tells you you're broken, but every crack in you lets the light in. It tells you you're alone, but there's a million hearts beating with the same courage you hold. You are not alone. You never were. Every human you admire has fought the same invisible enemy, fear. The difference is, they didn't listen. So stop listening. Stop feeding fear with attention. Feed your faith instead. Feed your vision. Feed your soul.